We Mean Business in Somerset County is brought to you by the Laurel Highlands Business Park. Offering nearly 100 acres of possibility, the Laurel Highlands Business Park is minutes from interstates and highways, providing easy access to regional markets and ports. The Laurel Highlands Business Park is shovel-ready and is in a welcoming, hardworking, and fun community. Contact the Somerset County Economic Development Council to learn more about the Laurel Highlands Business Park.
Welcome to We Mean Business in Somerset County. I'm Marty Radovanic, and we're happy to be joined today by this gentleman, Chris Heiple, who's the Senior Vice President of Sales of Wheeler Brothers. Wheeler Brothers. Is it Mo, Shemp, and Curly? You know what I'm saying? What is Wheeler Brothers?
Well, Marty, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Happy to have you.
What Wheeler Brothers is started out in 1960 as a small alternator rebuilder shop by H.W. Wheeler and Ed Miller, and they were just off the turnpike and decided to have. They saw some need for some different parts and so forth, and they grew out of a very small shop, and literally fast forward, 60 years later almost, to a $220 million company.
So $220 million doing what?
We sell automotive parts. Our primary customer is the United States Postal Service. They're by far our largest. They currently have about 220,000 vehicles that deliver your mail every day.
Right.
We provide a vast majority of the parts that keep that fleet running. Their vehicles, some of them, they bought about 142,000 starting in 1987, and they produced them through 1994. And they are what we consider the oldest antique fleet in the world, the little boxy trucks that run around your neighborhood. So pretty much every part that's on your truck that delivers your mail came from Wheeler Brothers at some point.
So how did you have that kind of growth? I mean, how do you get a contract with the United States Postal Service?
Well, back in 1989, when they saw the new vehicles rolling off, H.W. Wheeler had an idea, and Dave Wheeler actually thought about, I think we could sell parts. We were a COPAR, we were a DOD, Department of Defense. We had stores all over the world, and we would sell basically to the military automotive parts. They saw this vehicle coming off new. They knew it had a General Motors chassis underneath it. They knew they were strong with General Motors at the time, and approached the post office about a contract, a national ordering agreement actually. And at that point, what we found was we thought we won the contract, and immediately sales would just start pouring in.
Right.
The post office doesn't work like a typical government entity. They have decision making on the actual floor. So there's 320 vehicle maintenance facilities where they actually work on trucks throughout the country, including Guam, Puerto Rico, even in Hawaii, which is why I got to go to Hawaii 3 times. You always want that account.
Right.
But we found that we had to get boots on the ground and actually sell to these folks. We had a license to hunt, so to speak, but we couldn't, it just didn't magically appear. So they ground it out year in and year out to try to get, business built up, and they were marginally successful at first because they went in with a very nonchalant attitude, thinking that with the contract, because coming out of government world, you get a contract, all of a sudden it just becomes money.
Right.
And in this case, it was an instantaneous disappointment. So they actually changed their whole model and the way our company operated from a government contract entity to a sales and customer service. And probably if you wanted to go back to a point in time that changed Wheeler Brothers forever, was that moment.
So it sounds like Wheeler Brothers is a company that certainly could locate anywhere that they wanted to because they're doing. But You said they started in a little shop just off the turnpike. You're still in Somerset County. Why is that?
Yes. First off, what a better place to live. I mean, this area, although small and rural, it doesn't have a lot of the problems and issues that some of the larger cities would have. We have a great set of commerce. The road, the turnpike being right here, is a tremendous outlet to go in all different directions. We're a one-day delivery from pretty much 2/3 of the population of the country.
Really?
Yes, yes. The Midwest is a little sparse, but
Right.
the California is big, but we have one location currently. The only distribution point for Wheeler Brothers is in Somerset, Pennsylvania.
A prospective business that's coming here is going to look at you guys. Well, first of all, they're not going to figure that you're doing $220 million worth of business. How could you be doing that out of Somerset, Pennsylvania?
Correct.
Then when you say every one of those mail trucks across the country has parts that came from us, people are going to go, wow, they're not going to understand that. But I think you're an example, at least that's the way I see it, of, okay, you can start small, and we're not a big metropolitan area, but that doesn't mean that you can't be successful.
No. We, I believe in 2004, we used to have one building, and we ran 2 shifts out of that to distribute parts. We decided that clearly wasn't the model that we were looking for, because we were just running out of room. We had, I think at one point, probably 60 or 70 trailer trucks full of parts, and then we would move them in to move them right back out.
Right.
So it became very difficult, and we built a building, distribution center, about 80,000 square feet. It serviced us for quite a few years. It was a great, state-of-the-art, beautiful facility, kept clean. Mrs. Wheeler always kept it clean. She would walk the floors and keep it shiny. So I guess we started buying other buildings to try to offset our growth, to make sure we had the proper amount of parts to service this fleet.
How would you describe the atmosphere? You touched on a little bit, what a better place to live. But is it just simply that the views are great and you can walk to your local stream, or is it more than that?
No, when you come to Somerset, when you hire somebody, you get somebody that has a work ethic, that's going to roll their sleeves up, not afraid to get dirty. We're in auto parts, so it's not a glamorous job. You're not going to go out and see something shiny. It's automotive, but the people here have been, we started, again, small, but in 2011, I probably should even mention this, that it was a family-owned operation until 2011. In 2011, the family decided that they were happy, they were done, did a phenomenal job, and worked very hard to sell the company to a company or a group that was going to continue on with the legacy and keep the general feel of how Wheeler Brothers grew up. VSC Corporation purchased us, and they are a publicly traded company. So immediately there's a little Mueller win, so to speak, that you start to get nervous and think, well, what's going to happen here? They could not have been better. I've never been a part of an acquisition, but from all the stories that I've heard, they were able to come in, lend all the support they could, and all they said was, can you do this thing with the post office? Can you do this anywhere else or with anybody else? And we're like, well, heck yeah, we thought about that a couple years. Right. And they came in and they said, well, whatever you need. They just threw the door open and said, we're not going to interrupt, we're not going to disrupt, we just want you to do what you do, and if you need anything, let us know. And that's how they started. So they did keep the culture. They did keep the people there very stable. And then we started to think, boy, we probably could do something a little different. And we got into the commercial world and did some different things. But I think the head count was right around 150 folks when that transaction happened. And today we sit about 299.
So there's been growth, but still remain loyal to home,
To
Somerset
home.
County.
It is a family. It is still family. Chad Wheeler, our president, was obviously in that situation. He was the next man up, whether they sold or not. He was going to be the guy. And
Just a success story that would have happened anywhere else.
it would not have happened that way. If we would have been in a metropolitan area, I don't think that we would have had a core group of
Right,
folks that
right.
were there that believed that the reason our success was there was because of the culture, how we treat people, how we treat our customers, and that is the key. The old saying, the customer is always right.
Yeah.
You know, we probably go to an extreme on that. We expect our folks to always understand, step in their shoes. Even if they're not right with what they're trying to explain, we understand why they feel the way they do. So we make them happy. That's our goal.
That's a key. Chris Heiple, Senior Vice President of Sales for Wheeler Brothers. Thanks for stopping in today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching.